Hey everybody, and welcome to Geeks and Drinks. I'm Jason.
I'm Jordan.
And so for this episode, mainly it's going to be about Batman v Superman. For a number of reasons. One, it just came out. Two, it's on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
Three, we have unfortunately seen it twice already. That's...
We'll get to opinions on that.
We'll get to the opinions on that in a moment. There are a few other things here and there we'll be talking about. Some information that came out of WonderCon, a few things else going on around the internet, some really cool announcements. But let's just get to Bats v Supes. Let's talk about the money first. This movie had a $250 million budget. It was predicted to hit $350 million worldwide on its opening weekend, about $150 million of that domestic. As of end of Friday, it's saying it had $82 million already. That's 27.7 million of that. It's actually from the Thursday night, the midnight releases and slightly
Which
earlier.
We did. That's another gripe that I have.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. So far, it has made about $197 million. So it's going to make its money back. We knew that was going to happen. But after this opening weekend,
Well, here's the dangerous thing. Like, we saw a midnight-ish showing.
Right.
And we judged it a bit harsher than we did after viewing number 2.
Right. Oh, well.
I mean, after the first showing, you gave it like a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
I gave it a 4.
And then what was your score after seeing it a second
5.
time?
5. Mine went up.
If mine goes up at all, it's maybe a 3.5.
Yeah, I remember you were like 3.5, maybe a 4, but 3.5.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I mean,
I
think I guess I felt bad because at work everyone kept asking, "How is it? Is it good? How is it?" I'm like, it met expectations. I didn't want to blatantly sit there and be like, "It was shit," because I know I was gonna have to sit there and listen to people. Why was
you
it
have to
bad?
explain everything. Yeah.
It's like I don't want to have to explain myself as a nerd, because again, guess who called it? Yo.
Yeah.
I called that Batfleck was gonna be the best part.
Yes, you did.
And the bullshit, bullshit cop-out of how they were going to show the other Justice Leaguers. In terrible YouTube-ish videos.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to that part in a moment. Let's go down the list. Let's go to the casting list.
Okay.
Ben Affleck as Batman.
He was awesome.
Perfect. I actually enjoyed him. I enjoyed his take on the character, both as Bruce Wayne and as Batman.
I mean, the only business I didn't like about Batman in this movie was his large quantity of guns.
And he killed a significant number of people.
Well, dude, when our friend Dom, who saw it with us for the midnight showing, he made the comment, it's like, is this Batman or Punisher? Because I really don't know.
Mm-hmm. And there was a recent interview with Zack Snyder talking about that, and essentially they were looking more along the lines of Batman wasn't directly killing people. But if he shoots, if there's a bunch of bad guys in the truck and he shoots the engine block causing the car to explode, then it's tough luck for the bad guys to be bad guys. That's how they're trying to justify it. Now, granted, if you look at some of the past movies, especially like in Batman Begins, I think Christian Bale's version of Batman had a kill record of like 42 to 45.
I was going to say that bullshit quote of, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
I wasn't even get to that part. It was the whole, all the collateral damage around them. They said, they looked about 42 to 45 people that he killed throughout the trilogy. Not directly, though. So it's one of those things, if you use that aspect of it, Batman still killed a hell of a lot of
Nightmare
people in this
sequence. He has the gun and he's straight up killing people.
But that was also,
Nightmare sequence.
Is it a...
Which, fuck.
Is it a dream or is it a prediction? So, who knows? Well, especially because with the scene right after that with the whole bit with the Flash, which we won't get to in this review.
Okay, even then, when he's in the bat plane, and he's attacking like that one warehouse at the end,
right?
He opens fire on those dudes in the car.
That's true.
And
that was blatant.
Even if you say the engine block nonsense, if the hood of the car is here, he shoots where the cab would be, and then Michael Bay's and explodes for no reason like that. But it's like there was a dude in the back of the car.
Yeah.
Murder. You straight up just shot a dude.
I mean, Batman does say himself, we are criminals. We've always have been. It's the only part...
But Affleck was amazing in all aspects.
He was. But, Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
Yeah.
My favorite version of Alfred to date. Because not only does he do like, you know, the butler stuff of, you know, bringing him stuff to drink and eat and whatnot, and then being the soundboard for Bruce Wayne / Batman. When he assists him as well, he always has his own little jabs in there.
That, and he wasn't just a plot device.
No, he wasn't. He actually...
And you got to see the fact that Bruce does care for him. When he shows up at the... they're not at Wayne Manor, they're at that weird lakeside house. Bruce Wayne brings him coffee.
Yeah.
Which, that I'm like, oh, fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I love the bits where you have Alfred at the Bat computer about to control the Bat plane. And then he's just like... starts making some random quips here and there while just drinking the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's just a badass, you know, Alfred.
Well, no, he was drinking in the other scene, not before he flew.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, either case, though, great character.
You know what I mean? Like,
the actor played it so well.
He goes the right way of trying to say he wants Bruce to be happy and to have a family.
Right. Even though he knows...
It's never going to happen.
Yeah. You had the option to die young, not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was almost more like a family friend / mentor than a butler.
Which, that's what Alfred is.
He plays it a lot more than, say, like, Michael Caine's version of Alfred. Which was all butler and, like...
Well, the only quip he ever had, Michael Caine ever had, was the whole, what's the point of doing all those bloody push-ups? You can't lift a log.
Lift a bloody log, yeah.
But no, like, the whole Batman side of it was awesome. I mean, I sincerely hope the terrible reviews doesn't hurt what was announced that, you know, Ben Affleck was going to direct a standalone Batman movie with him as Batman.
I am looking forward to that.
That would be awesome.
Especially because right now, they announced recently that Ben Affleck is teaming up with comic book writer Jeff Johns to work on a project. If that happens to be that standalone Batman movie, I'm good. I'm totally good. You're not a fan of Jeff Johns?
I like his work in comic books. I don't like his work in big screen.
Fair enough.
Everything he's touched just turned to suck in terms of big screen, or even little screen.
I'm being hopeful.
Green Lantern.
Okay, I can't.
He heavily implied that he had a lot to do with that movie.
I can't defend that.
And he was defending the movie left and right before it came out.
I can't defend that. I mean, he's great with his comics.
I mean, granted, I understand. I just went straight for the kick to the groin on that one.
You kind of did, yeah.
But when he defended Green Lantern before it came out, he goes, "No, guys, it's really good. Like I was there. Like I helped out a lot." And then what happened? We saw the movie.
Utter shit.
Utter shit. Yeah. But
move on to the
standalone Batfleck. I'd love to see.
Yes, Henry Cavill returning to play his role as Superman / Clark Kent. I say meh, mainly partially because of Cavill's acting ability, but mostly because the dialogue and the script that he had to deal with was not beneficial to the character.
Like he's a good actor. Like he was on the show The Tudors. He was one of my favorite characters on that show.
But in this movie,
and Man of Steel, it's one of those things. It's like how much of this is his fault versus how much of it is just writing, directing. You know, because the writers have that very weak support system. The
writers did not get the characters at all, either in Man of Steel
or Zack Snyder didn't.
Well,
and I'll explain why once we get to it.
Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. It's still a lot of the writers' problems, though, because we'll go for that. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Surprisingly good for the little bit that we saw of her in this movie, for me at least. When she was first announced, or that she was casted as this role, instantly went, no, she gonna play Ultra Nerd for a little bit. She doesn't have the physique that one would expect from an Amazon princess, an Amazon warrior. And I'm like, what she did though, I mean, she was good in it. She had some decent dialogue. She played the part well. The action sequences that she was in, albeit short, were entertaining. Does this make me want to see the Wonder Woman movie, standalone movie?
I feel like
yes.
I honestly feel like they just threw her in at the last second,
Just for the fans to go, oh my god!
just to add to the fact that now we have Wonder Woman. We have another character. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's Batman versus Superman, but we have an additional superhero that we can throw in there.
Right. Start that whole process, get in there. Okay, we have to talk about this. I have to take a drink beforehand. Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor. Ugh.
And that's what I was mentioning it earlier. It was fucking terrible.
No. Bad.
The man's like a...
Bad Eisenberg, bad Snyder, bad writers.
Because Eisenberg made the comments like, oh, yeah, I never read any of the comics. And then after I was cast, I was like, don't need it.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, it was... They wanted a completely different role for it. Or a different take on this character. Thank you, Jess. And even like we said with Jesse Eisenberg in this interview was his Snyder's enthusiasm about this movie and his description of the movie sounded very interesting. When they sent me the script, they asked to play the part I play in the movie, and it was such a wonderfully drawn character. How? Okay. But he was so unfamiliar with anything surrounding it because he didn't grow up reading the comics or watching these movies. Okay, I can understand that, but when other
I read
actors,
a little bit out of interest, but it was meaningless.
That itself went, you should never play anything with source material from, pop culture.
Pop culture that's been around for over,
decades.
50, 60 years?
Mm-hmm, decades. When I just drew a blank on the actor who played the Punisher in the Daredevil season 2.
Jon Bernthal?
Jon Bernthal. When he found out he was being cast as that role, he went instantly to his local comic book shop and was like, I am just casted for this role for Punisher. I don't know anything about this character. Help me understand this character. And he went full in depth with this, got a bunch of comics, went back and forth, talked to a lot of different people, and from everybody who has seen his stuff in Daredevil season 2,
it was good.
Fantastic.
Someone's fucking slacking, but it was good.
Slacking. I'm only on season 2, episode 2, so that's for me to catch up on. But going back to Eisenberg,
brutal.
Going back to Eisenberg, what the fuck, man?
Jessica said it best earlier today. Heisenberg, not Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston would have been fucking amazing.
He was the other person up for the role, and then Snyder went, we're going to go in this different direction.
I'm just saying at that point, because presumably you could have Luthor be the same age as Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have them, you have Bruce and Luthor as villains, but you have Bruce and Luthor as enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, you have Batman and Superman as enemies.
There were a lot of things they could have done.
And then you have Superman and Luthor as enemies.
But here's the problem, though. Instead of all these awesome possibilities, and they had the budget to do some of this stuff, they could have grabbed more writers who understood the source material better. Instead, we got inconsistencies everywhere, not to mention
Dick Snyder.
Weird-ass pacing and different design. For example, that opening scene. Okay, let's revisit the death of Bruce's parents. We've all seen that, which ends with zombie Jesus, Bat Kid going...
Yeah, Jesus, baby Bruce Jesus, where he just kind of
flying up
has the Jesus big arms and the big cross, and just lifts off the... I don't fucking know.
Yeah, and there's no mention of this being a dream sequence till at the end of the dream, I just saw white. And if they didn't have that voiceover... we were already laughing our asses off within the first 3 minutes.
Not even that after that, it's like, was it the event in Metropolis? Like,
yeah.
Oh, so you don't want to blatantly have to go like, all right.
Which was all just a blatant Jeep commercial.
Dude, the fact that when we saw the movie, they showed a commercial for some Jeep vehicle coming out that's the Batman vs Superman edition. It's like, oh, that looks cool, I guess. Actual movie, same exact fucking footage.
Yeah.
But that weird, like they kept jumping time. And they
many cuts to black or white.
Well, no, like it's after the big Jesus dream sequence in the beginning. It basically makes the comment in Metropolis.
The world is introduced to the Superman.
The world's introduced to Superman Metropolis, and then it fades to white, and then it goes. Right after you see everything go down,
to black.
Fades to black. 18 months later. It's like, oh, so no one gives a shit about story. That's cool.
I hate when people fucking do this. If you can't
Which
work
I
your
found-
way or talk your way out of a situation, out of an event when you're writing something, ask for help. Get someone else to get an idea of it to move forward with it. Not go, you know what? I'm just going to table everything I had problems with and go 18 months later, go.
What also bothers me is if you look at it that way, technically it took 6 months for the rest of the movie to happen. Never mentioned it with the exception of the fact that
At the
Luthor makes
end-
comment, it only took him 2
2
years.
years. So the pacing, oh god, the pacing was god awful. The dialogue was god awful.
Again, I blame Snyder for all of it. Don't even care. Man has never made a good movie. He still can't, apparently.
And yet he makes money. Which is why he's been currently listed as the director for the 2 upcoming movies for Justice League, even though we'll see what happens with that. He's already listed as the executive producer for the upcoming Suicide Squad movie. He's trying to become the Joss Whedon of DC Universe.
And cinematic, yeah.
And
I say
Vaguely
Joss
deserve-
Whedon at least wrote comics, too.
yeah.
Zack Snyder's like, fuck it, you want to give me a paycheck? Piece of shit.
Oh, God. So, before we move on, I do have to make the mention that before the movie was even released, they released, Warner Bros. Released details about the upcoming Blu-ray release, which was actually moved forward to July. And aside from the regular DVD versions and the Blu-ray versions, there's also a collector's edition. Amazon currently has a pre-order set for July 27th. We'll see how accurate that is. But in this collector's edition, you can buy one of 2 sets. Each set comes with either Henry Cavill's Superman or Ben Affleck's Batman in a statue. You also get the 2D and 3D Blu-ray versions of the movie, and each of which boast a additional 30 minutes of extra footage into the movie in an R-rated director's cut.
I'm not glad. I kind of just want the Batman one. Just because
Yeah.
he has his like fist up like this. Now I can think it's for justice. He's got that weird, just Tiger Woods, like, we did it.
Yeah.
Success.
Here's the thing, though. This extra 30 minutes is essentially some more characters, minor characters that cut out, more violence, more Doomsday, and a longer ending.
That's we are assuming that was Doomsday. I just assumed, they pulled one of the dudes out from that terrible Will Smith movie. I Am Legend.
No. Okay, here's the thing, though. Longer ending, that ending was already long enough as is. So much goddamn slow-mo. Unnecessarily long slow-mo sequences throughout this entire goddamn
Anytime
movie.
Superman was flying, slow motion.
When there's a scene where they're firing cannons, and the cannon, they show the cannon being fired in slow motion, and then they go to super slow motion and watching the freaking cannon shell drop to the ground. Why? There's no hero moment there.
I just, even the score for the movie, I wanted to laugh. Because it seems like a very bad version of, like, to have a band or anything, you have to have, multiple
You had
instruments.
Talented.
You had Hans Zimmer involved.
You had a talented composer, and then you teamed up with Junkie XL, who's been on a freaking roll as of late.
I don't know.
And all I hear is chunk, 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 chunk. Just repeat that ad nauseum. You're
it's not
good.
even that. It's just a loud drum, not even regular drums, just like a large bass drum. Do 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 do, and then just guitar. It's like
Like, I
that's
could've
it. That's
sworn-
the 2 instruments you need.
You could have Strong Bad basically turn around and re-record this soundtrack. It would sound more entertaining. You could have him scream Trogdor the entire time. It'd be more entertaining.
He does burn through the cottages.
Ah.
But yeah, like
Going through. Is there any other part of this movie we
Can't.
need to really address? That's not going to make us.
Ben Affleck, I love you. I look forward to all your future work and all your endeavors.
Batfleck is amazing.
Most of us have seen your sad video or meme.
Yeah.
You did good, buddy.
Yeah.
It wasn't you. It's not you.
When people are
It's everything fucking else in that
when
movie.
people bitch about this movie, they are not going to bitch about you, except for the heavy use of guns. But you as a character, You had it down pat. You're great at that point.
You redeemed yourself from Daredevil and Geely.
Cavill, you need better writers to play that character.
Like, Cavill, you did your best.
Yeah, with what you were given, you did your best. The best. Jesse Eisenberg, just die in a fire already.
Just go away.
Like, I know the writers went and Zack Snyder went on a different take for that, but you didn't help it out one bit.
CrossFit.
We almost forgot his Batman CrossFit training montage.
You know what? If there's 30 more minutes, I hope it's just 30 minutes. It just shows you from beginning to shower of Ben Affleck's CrossFit workout.
With in the background,
that's the 30-minute extra that makes it rated R.
It's just Ben Affleck naked working out in the
Ben
back
Affleck
cave.
just fucking sweaty doing CrossFit. And the only reason why it's rated R is because it shows him in the shower later. Like, oh my god, I hope that's it. I know that sounds very homoerotic, but that would be amazing to me.
All I have to say, though, this is all, very CrossFit oriented, this training montage. Could you imagine, though, if this is like, say, the early to mid-90s?
What do you mean it is CrossFit? The only part of it that's not blatant CrossFit is that bullshit where they just have two ropes and they're just jerking them off.
But could you imagine, though, if this was done in the 90s? It wouldn't be CrossFit. It'd be all Taibo. You see Billy Banks in the background.
Oh, that'd be great.
You see George Clooney in the background.
I would say just, Bruce putting on his bat spanks and just loading a VHS in, pushing play, trying to get his 10-minute abs.
Yeah. For more what the fuck moments with this movie, ScreenRant.com has an excellent article about the 9 biggest what the fuck moments, and I agree with basically all of them. Moving on to other news, this weekend was WonderCon. This is the first year they went to the LA Convention Center. They've already made announcements that they are going to be going back in 2017 to the Anaheim Convention Center, the ACC, which is a much better location for something like this. But that did not keep both DC and Marvel from making some pretty big announcements this weekend. Let's work with DC up first. Their upcoming relaunch, which it's not a reboot, it's a relaunch. It's the same exact thing. You can't spin that any other way. Yeah. They're calling this Rebirth. So it's still Rebirth, relaunch, reboot. It's all the same thing. Mm-hmm. The relaunch will apparently not reboot the ongoing story of some DC characters, but they're trying to spin some things around, like Action Comics will return to its original series numbering, which has been going on since the 30s. Other ones will start off as new number ones. You'll, of course, have new stuff for Superman, Wonder Woman, new Superman, Supergirl, Trinity, Superwoman, all the supers out there. Cyborg's getting his own series, Aquaman's getting his own series again, and I bet you all of these relaunches, what do you want to call it, the reboot, is going to be all about the upcoming Justice League cinematic movie.
Oh yeah, you have to build hype for it.
Yeah. Some things of note, the new Suicide Squad series is actually written by...
How much did you drink before filming?
Too much. Will be written by Rob Williams, but the best part about it, art will actually be done by Jim Lee. I'm kind of cool with this, though.
I'm down for most of what Jim Lee does. I mean, I'll wait.
You'll wait to see when it comes out?
I mean, worst case scenario, I can comic story in it.
It'll be a while before you get something like that, though.
That's fine.
Yeah. There's a whole list you can find online regarding what, writers and artists are attached to these new series. Most of these will kick off in, October, but there's going to be a one-shot that launches this whole Rebirth series, I guess you can call it, in June by Jeff Johns. It'll be 80 pages long. Does DC need to still keep on rebooting this almost every other year?
Yeah, I say, because the New 52 hasn't even been around that long.
New 52 started, 2011? 2012? Something like that. Now, while Marvel themselves went through a major reboot, basically, with Secret War.
But even then, they didn't... It's not like they blatantly just went, let's forget all the original continuity.
No. They just merged everything together, and then out of the ashes of that, created new storylines featuring some of the merged universes, which I'm perfectly fine with.
They found a way to kind of make it work.
But this is... Marvel is better at doing things like this than...
It's starting to be better at a lot of things, and it's painful for someone like me, because I grew up basically saying, fuck Marvel,
yeah, you were a diehard
DC.
Yeah.
And then over the past, ever since I finished It was probably around the same time the Iron Man movie came out. I think that's when I first started to be like, okay, Marvel, maybe you're not as shit as I thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
And then around the time Blackest Night finished up,
Right.
immediately after that, I'm like, oh, Flashpoint, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually that's what started the New 52. And I'm like, I don't care. I really don't. Like, you just blatantly rebooted everything. Like, you built this amazing, long-standing series.
Right.
Because Blackest Night, that probably took them, what, like 5 years to do?
It was a ridiculously long story arc. But the thing is, though, that was during the time when they can take years to put on.
But that's the thing. That was
arc.
the last great one, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of Blackest Night started it with Hal Jordan Rebirth.
Right.
And then it went into the Sinestro Corps War. And then it built up to where there was this giant fucking event that was messing with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Flashpoint.
Yep.
And then Flashpoint Paradox. And then the New 52. And then it started. And then immediately, we haven't even gotten that far. And we're already having to reboot again.
Yeah. I mean, I know Marvel, like, going back to Marvel real quick, they had, after Secret Wars, the all new, all different Marvel.
Yeah.
But again, even though several characters got a restart of their series, many of them just continue on where they were at.
Yeah.
Just in their, hey, this happened, this was crazy, we got out of it, now what? We move forward. Not just, and we're dead. Like, for example, like Deadpool. Deadpool actually died just before Secret Wars. Mm-hmm. Now he's going to be coming back as well, so...
But at which point, which version of him's coming back?
Yeah, that's always the big question. Well, the heck that Gwenpool is getting its own series. Yes. That's just going to be freaking crazy. So...
I just remember that, like, I remember even before they announced this, someone was already cosplaying as Gwenpool.
As Gwenpool, yeah.
That fucking shocked the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, really? You have someone that showed up on the cover of one issue. You're just like, fantastic, I can do this.
It's almost like a hilarious, hey, this would be funny, right? Wait, you're moving forward with this? Wait, she's getting her own series? Oh, shit. Okay.
And it's already started. I mean, like I said, the Howard the Duck issue.
Yeah.
Issues.
Or
she already told her origin story.
Yeah, her origin story was she just bought a suit.
Yeah, she shows up in the Marvel Universe like, don't worry, none of you exist in real life. Or at least in my universe anyways.
Yeah, so plenty of breaking the fourth wall there. It's going to be interesting. I will pick up a few issues to read that and see where they go with that.
No, like eventually I definitely want to go back and start buying a bunch of books, especially the Spider-Gwens and stuff like that.
We have two other news from bits of news from WonderCon. Going back to DC, at their Rebirth panel, they made the announcement that they're going to reveal Joker's real name. For those of you who were catching up on Justice League, where Batman was actually using the Mobius chair, he did ask the Mobius chair at one point, what is the Joker's real name? And you didn't hear the answer, but Joker just said, that's not possible. Here's the thing, though. Do we really need to know the Joker's name?
No.
I really don't. I fail to see what the...
I hope it's something cheap and bullshit. Like there's a Joker story called Going Sane, where Joker thinks he finally kills Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And because Batman's dead, he doesn't know where he's supposed to go from there.
Right.
So he turns around and lives a normal life. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, the white face paint goes away. He gets normal hair color. He gets, like, a regular 9-to-5 job.
The hell?
And, like, he develops a weird kind of love relationship with, like, his next-door neighbor at his apartment. But his name is Joseph Kerr.
Seriously? Yeah.
Yeah. Kerr is his last name. Like, there's a lot of really weird Joker stories. There's a couple good ones. I mean, Devil's Advocate, fucking amazing. If you've never read it, please do. But that one I just remember reading going, huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing.
See, I look at it, though, as that, to a lesser extent, releasing the Joker's real name is kind of like, what if Doctor Who revealed the Doctor's real name? Or the Doctor's name? That's a pretty significant thing to happen within Doctor Who mythos. But to release the name of the Joker, I fail to see how
I feel like it would
big
just
of
be a fan service, like, money grab.
Yeah.
Because when the Joker's gone on hand, basically on multiple occasions saying what his real name is doesn't matter.
Right.
And his, everything about him, it's like, oh, I prefer my past to be multiple choice.
Right.
Who he was doesn't matter. It's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know. I just look at it as, dude. Okay, fine. DC, you're trying to grasp at straws at this point. Whereas Marvel, for this last bit, I understand where they're going with this. They announced the death of X. This is a new phase that'll be starting in fall 2016. The idea behind this is that, or the people we're thinking of right now, is Marvel right now does not have, the cinematic rights to X-Men. So, what if they decided to do what they did with Fantastic Four? When the latest Fantastic Four movie was going to come out, they essentially killed the Fantastic Four in their comics and kind of wiped it from their publication list. Which probably when their mind was, let's separate ourselves from the upcoming movie, which they didn't need to because that movie was utter shit. But because Marvel does not own the rights to X-Men, I would not be surprised if they're trying to use this as a way to kill off the X-Men, so they can devalue the franchise for
and then try to buy it back.
Some deal with Fox to try to get it back. Because let's face it, for the past 2.5 years, Marvel in the comics have been focusing heavily on Inhumans, and even in the cinematic universe and the TV universe side, you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the past 2 years been pushing forward with Inhumans. The Inhumans themselves are getting a huge movie in 2019. I think that's what they're going for. Because right now, if you look into the X universe in the comics, there is the Terrigen Mist that's enveloping the planet at any given point. That's a huge thing for Inhumans, because all that does is regular humans whose ancestors were experimented on by aliens. If they inhale the Terrigen Mist, they will unleash their powers. Well, if they're going to try to make Inhumans become like the new X-Men, and then kill off the X-Men, because mutants at this point are actually, they call the Terrigen Mist the M-Pox, because if a mutant actually has, or gets the M-Pox, they actually breathes in this mist, there are several, there's several problems that they can experience, including death. So it could be Marvel saying, you know what, let's kill off the mutants for right now. Let's push forward the Inhumans, make this movie, and then maybe work a deal with Fox saying, hey, look, your franchise is not going to be making as much money because there's no more comic tie-in. We've basically killed them off. Sell them back to us, and then at that point, reintroduce the X-Men.
Or try to work out some kind of Spidey deal.
Like what they did with Sony. So, that's the idea right now. All we know is, this will come out this fall. It's called Death of X. It could be the death of one X-Men, or it could be death of all of them.
So they didn't mention anything other than Death of X. Check it out.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We have this one image that says Death of X. Yeah.
Adult Swim has basically announced that they will be bankrolling seasons 2 and 3 of Fully Cooley.
Yeah. The fact that they're bankrolling this is, one, awesome, but two, not unheard of, because
I'm more or less intrigued. It's been, over 10 years since Fully Cooley?
A little longer than that.
That's what I'm saying. It's been at least. Like I know
at least 10 years, yes. But this won't be the first time that Cartoon Network and Adult Swim have financed something, an anime series to be produced in Japan. Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and Production IG teamed up several years ago to work on IGPX, which was met with lukewarm reviews.
No idea what that is.
Okay. This one, Fully Cooley, if you have any inkling of what anime is, you've probably seen at least one episode of this. So, what's interesting, though, is that the original 6-episode series was produced by Gainax. For this 2-season sequel to it, it's actually being handled by Production IG, which is one of the world's biggest anime studios out there. So, to go from Gainax to Production IG, I'm perfectly fine with, because Gainax is legendary in their own right. To pass over to another legendary studio, I'm fine with. Plus the fact that because you have Cartoon Network and Adult Swim financing this, we're obviously going to get it much faster than, say, waiting for it to come out in Japan and then wait for an English dub to come out. Funimation recently, or semi-recently, did a similar thing with Space Dandy, which is they actually were able to get some of the scripts and the content early enough so that within a week of an episode airing in Japan, we had an English dub version on American TV, which was amazing, and I loved that series.
I've yet to watch that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's 26 episodes, lots of fun. Yeah, so the internet has, for anime fans at least, has basically exploded over this. Fooly Cooly is one of those series that, even though it was very short, only 6 episodes long, just blew up and everybody knew about it, and you had a very strong opinion of whether or not you hated or loved it.
It was one of those anime that didn't take itself seriously, or at least
By
not in the
far.
slightest.
Yeah.
You know, it was a fun anime. I mean, story-wise, I've seen it like 2 or 3 times. I couldn't tell you what the fuck it was about, at least not entirely.
Yeah.
But the whole borrowing from other different forms of animation, constantly shuffling around,
Right.
it made for something entertaining to watch.
We'll see what happens with this. Obviously, a lot of fans have already hit up a lot of the voice actors and actresses that voiced these roles in the original Fooly Cooly, saying, "Are you coming back?" One being Kari Wahlgren, who voiced Haruko in the original version. She has responded with, "This is amazing news. I'm a big fan of this character in this series. No, I have not been contacted yet, nor has anybody else been for that matter, but fingers crossed that they will." And given the fact that one of the biggest reasons why this series became such a hit in America was because of her voice bringing, Haruko to life for the English audience, it'd be a no-brainer to bring her back for this situation. There's going to be a lot of money anyways.
For something like this, it's more or less, let's try to make a good product, even if that means shelling out extra money.
Oh, what else is out there? The Lego Batman movie has finally released a trailer, and I'm all for this.
It's interesting.
Will Arnett is back voicing Batman. It's everything you liked about Batman from the Lego movie, just brought over into a full standalone movie. I'm happy with this.
You know my problem with this movie.
Which is?
Michael Cera is Robin. And we talked about this a couple months ago in one of our episodes.
Yeah. I know your hate relationship with Michael Cera. But can you get past that for Lego Batman? Let me phrase that. How drunk do you need to be to enjoy this to get past Michael Cera's part in this
I like how
movie?
that's your go-to. How hammered do you have to be?
Because I know you. We're going to see this movie when it comes out in 2017. But I can already expect, like, the moment Robin shows up on screen, if
I will be bringing a flask.
Any of you who happen to be in the theater when we go see this, I apologize in advance because as soon as he shows up on screen, you're hearing in the back of the theater,
You're gonna hear a loud, heavy sigh. Perhaps the words "fuck that guy."
Go see the trailer. The trailer is awesome.
It's funny. It's what you would expect if the Lego Movie made a Batman movie.
Mm-hmm. And it should be an entertaining Valentine's Day date movie because it'll be released right now on February 10th, 2017.
They have announced that or at least I think we've already even talked about, they're bringing back the Tick.
They are bringing back the Tick, yes.
It's going to be on Amazon's streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
But this week they currently announced the Tick. As much as I would have loved it to have been old Patrick Warburton, assuming I don't know what they did, but they actually casted Peter I'm just gonna read Peter Serafinowicz.
Yeah.
Basically, you probably know him from some of the other shit that he's done. He was one of the Nova Corps members in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the one who notoriously says, "Oh, what a bunch of assholes."
Yep.
He showed up for a couple episodes in Parks and Recreation as Lord Covington III. And I feel like most of my friends and most people I know probably know him as the dickish roommate from Shaun of the Dead. Basically, I everything I've seen him in, he's hilarious in, even when he's not supposed to be funny.
Right.
So I look forward to this because I feel like this is something that's outside of his wheelhouse.
It really is, but he definitely has the chops to actually.
Because he's good at acting and he's very funny, but he's gonna have to play a goofy kind of funny.
True, that is different from what he usually does, though.
So I mean, like the closest we've seen is Lord Covington from Parks and Rec.
Right.
But even then, that was still very soft-spoken because he's still being very British.
And Tick is very not that.
I mean, if you don't live in the U.S. and you try to imagine what the stereotypical American is, kind of the Tick.
Yeah.
So I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to play out.
Joining him, you'll have Griffith Newman from Vinyl as his sidekick Arthur. Valerie Curry from The Following will be Arthur's doting sister Dot. There'll be several other people to be announcing throughout the series. This is going to be hopefully a big hit for Amazon. Amazon's been going after Netflix pretty hard as of late. They've battled against Netflix to get the original Top Gear team over. That's going to be amazing. That was a huge win for them. For them to also bring on the Tick, and they're working on several other series for original content. They may put Netflix at a decent battle, not for back catalog because Netflix beats them hands down at that point.
Well,
but for new original content, I think they're going to be giving them a run for their money.
I honestly don't think they will ever come close to Netflix, or at
Really?
least not anytime soon.
I
think it's going to take some time. I mean, name me one thing that's on Amazon that's on its second or more season that's better than something on Netflix.
That's better than something on Netflix. Nothing.
Netflix has shit like House of Cards that's just finished its 4th season. It has shows like Orange is the New Black, which is just finished its 3rd season.
Then you have Daredevil and
that just finished season
Jessica
2,
Jones
and the rest of the Marvel catalog, and they're only getting started with Marvel.
Here's the thing, though. Netflix will probably remain on top as the number one most streaming for original content. I'm a big fan of having multiple choices out there.
At this point, it's just coming down to who's battling for number 2.
I'm fine if that's Amazon.
As of right now, I'd probably put Amazon in 3rd.
As of right now, I would agree. But with their upcoming slate of shows for 2016, 2017, I would say they'll put them in 2nd place.
We'll see.
So, anywho's, that's going to be it for this episode of Geeks and Drinks. Thank you guys so much for hanging out as always. For Geeks and Drinks, I'm Jason.
I'm Jordan.
Cheers, Internet.